Welcome to our video today, where we'll be discussing an important topic in the world of Spring gRPC development. If you're working on building scalable and efficient microservices using Spring gRPC, then this video is for you. We'll be exploring a specific issue that many developers encounter when trying to handle exceptions in their gRPC services. The question we'll be addressing is what's going on with Spring gRPC at exception handler. Using outdated context generation by the end of this video, you'll understand what this issue is all about and how it affects your application. So, let's dive into the topic at hand. When building a gRPC service using Spring, it's essential to handle exceptions properly. One way to do this is by using the exception handler annotation. However, some developers have reported issues with this annotation when it comes to context generation. The problem arises because the exception handler uses an outdated approach to generating context. To understand what's going on here, let's break down how Spring gRPC generates context. In a typical scenario, Spring creates a new context for each incoming request. This context is then used throughout the processing of that request. However, in some cases, especially when handling exceptions, this context generation can become outdated. The exception handler annotation might still be referencing an old context, even though a new one has already been generated. Imagine you're building a house, and you have different construction teams working on various parts of it. In our case, the context is like the blueprint for that house. If the blueprint becomes outdated while the construction is ongoing, it can lead to inconsistencies and mistakes in the final product. Similarly, when the context generation becomes outdated, it can cause issues with your gRPC service. And the reason behind this issue lies in how Spring handles thread local context. When an exception occurs, Spring creates a new thread to handle that exception. However, the exception handler might still be referencing the old thread local context instead of the new one created for handling the exception. This discrepancy can cause unexpected behavior and errors. So, what should you take away from this discussion? The key points are: Spring gRPC's exception handler annotation uses an outdated approach to context generation. This issue arises due to how Spring handles thread local context during exception handling. It's essential to understand the context generation process in Spring gRPC to address this problem. That concludes our video on the topic of Spring gRPC at exception handler using outdated context generation. We hope you now have a clear understanding of what causes this issue and its implications for your application. If you have any questions or need further clarification, please leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video if it helped you understand the topic better. For more informative content on Spring gRPC and related topics, consider subscribing to our channel. Before we end, let us ask, have you encountered similar issues with an exception handler in your own projects? Share your experiences and insights with us. We're eager to hear about them and help you address any challenges you might be facing.